Sup Shredders, my name is Logan, aka Spiderhands, and welcome to SP Reviews, where today we have ourselves a track from an act named Bex Bright featuring 1L1L, titled Run It Up. And if we switch over to here, we have the track on the screen. We're going to be listening through it from start to finish. We're going to hear what we think. Let's go, let's do this.
I think it's funny. I run it up till I run out of money. I give while they taking it from me. Getting played like a dummy. I chalk it up to my age while I'm grumpy. Blaming the game cause the play ain't nothing. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go. I think it's...
Well, excellent production value so far. I'm enjoying that triplet flow. Reminiscent of contemporary hip-hop, that kind of drill stuff as well, you know, trap and all that. You know, the production value is fantastic, especially with that the vocal pounding there at the end of that run, you know. Interesting, sort of tense, engaging synth line.
I run it up till I run out of money. I give while they taking it
nice tight bass with the kick.
Taking it from me. Getting played like a dummy. I chalk it up to my age while I'm grumpy. Blaming the game cause the play ain't nothing. Something to say when I say it or something. Never surrender the flag. Heart rate stay racing like drag. I gotta stick to the plan. Do what I gotta to get to the bag. Ayy, never surrender the flag. Heart rate stay racing like drag. I gotta stick to the plan. Do what I gotta to get to the bag. Ayy.
So, got to do what I got to get the bag, don't want to give up the flag. I suppose we're talking about kind of making our way through life and trying to make the most opportunities and not taking it for granted, I suppose, that kind of hustle, grind set kind of culture we've got nowadays. You know, it sounds emphatic, it's sort of semi-inspirational, especially with those choir sounds being sampled in there.
Go solo, I don't postpone on my own show, leave you up Shit's Creek in a rowboat. No pedal, no saddle, fuck a
damn, dude, the brass there. Great tone to it.
Like a pogo, have the world cave in slow-mo. Go toe-to-toe with a po-po, that's a low blow. You cop out, get high, just plummet at the dropout. I'm bout but they knock out. 1L just spot in the countdown, yeah. And you so-so, go big or go home. I'm already home, so GoPro. My studio is my dojo, you don't know.
I like the line, the studio is a dojo, you know. There's a fair bit of wordplay in here that I'm appreciating. This is a different feel of the previous verse. I like the fact that we're developing the motif and the accompaniment as we go along with the story.
Run it up, I take a band of the bang.
We're hitting some higher strings now as we go into the second half. Clever.
Run it up, rep for the land on the lake. Run it up, running the track till it break. Run it up, I take a band of the bang. Run it up, I know you mad cause you came. Run it up, I rep the land where I stay. Run it up, you rep the land of the fake. Trying to get my checks right.
Damn, we're only halfway through. It feels like we've already had so much so far. That's not to say that I'm disinterested in hearing more. The rapper has got great flow, and there's a charisma to the performance there. It's engaging. I can't really complain about this. I'm actually I'm taking it all in, you know.
Get guest vibes, got them lined up with the dead sight. Homie have to catch me in my next life. Ayy, check the mic. Okay. Smoke till my chest is tight. Text my wife, tell her go steal Bex from Bright.
Damn, nice callback to Bex Bright. I dig it. I like the check in the mic and the smoking sounds and the bits of foley that we have in there. It creates an atmosphere. It helps to sort of build it up, you know.
Dispatch on a mishap. If you broke, bro, gotta fix that. Call you up to mix that. Have a banger that'll blow your fucking wig back. I'm mastermind. Wreck mics, that's crash time. Go landmine in my pastime. Pass by, blowing smoke like a campsite. Damn right. Break beats. Let me cut them off in the same streets. Fuck them up, show you what a gang means when they say things like, man, please don't drive by. We wise guys, fuck your good vibes, ain't tie-dye. So high, might fuck around a skydive. Wait, bye-byes, I fly by.
And the back end coming in for that hook, you know, there's just so much to enjoy and appreciate. I like the fact that we're talking about the studio and then we're going to the actual gig and everything like that. We're kind of hyping ourselves up for the performance there.
Street shook up like a tambourine in the whirlwind. Great ramming me, damn I mean, battle me, make the world spin rapidly. Full grips won't be enough to handle me. Your eulogy, bring a candle, please. Kirk that, you ain't nothing but trash to me. Make them say, oh, like Master P. Run it up. I take a band of the bang. Run it up. Know that they cancel, they hate. Run it up. I rep the land where I stay. Run it up. You rep the land of the fake.
We're doing a double chorus. You know, this is how we do a double chorus. We don't just have the same thing copied and pasted, you know. Maybe we have a halftime beat or we fill to the drums and kind of have a little bit more sort of ambiguity to it. We'd never copy and paste. I'm glad we're not doing that here.
I take a band of the bang. Run it up. Know that they cancel, they hate. Run it up. I rep the land where I stay. Run it up. You rep the land of the fake. I think it's funny. I run it up till I run out of money. I give and give while they taking it from me. Getting played like a dummy. I chalk it up to my age while I'm grumpy. Blaming the game cause the play ain't nothing. Something to say when I say it or something.
Damn, man, the wordplay is tight. Because this is the conclusion of my review of this track by Bex Bright. Titled Run It Up, featuring 1L. What do I want to say about this track? I think, first of all, the story is about someone who is, I think this is a track about someone who is trying to find their way in the world. Yeah, again, sees the opportunities that are presented as a musician, you know, taking those bands to the bank. I assume we're going to make some money from this, you know. We got our eyes on the career, on, you know, getting to the top. We got to play those stages and tour and all that kind of good stuff that a, you know, a professional musician does. And I think that's exceptional. I mean, it's not necessarily a unique concept. I'm not going to pretend it's the first time I've heard a musician, especially in like hip hop and rap and stuff, talk about trying to make money from music and all that kind of stuff. It's common, it's prevalent thematically within the genre and other styles of music related to it. But at the same time, I think just this is it just sounded great. The guy sold it as a vocalist, you know. The story that was told by him, he just sounded like he had the absolute swagger and charisma of someone who was already there, you know. He was a guy who'd been through he'd been through the trials and tribulations that were required in order to get to that part where you can sort of look where we've come from and go, damn, man, I really, you know, we really did it. You kind of believe that he was doing all this stuff with doing the My Chicken and doing a live show and everything like that, and his studio and how his methodology and his discipline and his ideologies, you know, they all came through not only with the words but also with the actual performance itself. It sounded very authentic and genuine. The guy clearly is experienced on the mic. In other words, there's a great flow working between his 8th, triplets and 16th rhythms. You know, there's a lot of creativity there. I like the fact that we didn't just, obviously the hooks were repeated, you know, you had those triplets there, but we switched up the flow in the different verses and interlude parts and everything like that, and I'm thankful for that. It helps to keep listeners engaged. If you just copy and paste the same thing over and over, it's kind of boring. I think that the actual motif itself backed that up. It backed up the story that was told along with the vocals. I listened to this and I think, oh yeah, okay. You're gonna got the synths, the bass, the drums, you know, which I think we're trying to fit into certain genres that are quite sort of popular at the moment, you know, maybe for the sake of a single, but also just because I think this kind of style is hot at the moment, that those really tight basses and such like that. And I think it's a fun idea and a fun concept to mess around with if it's done properly, and I think it was. The vocals matched the tone of music really well. You had this kind of one sort of bass line that kind of worked with a harmony, bum, bum, bum. Maybe there was 3 chords, actually, 3-chord progression that quickly looped, and maybe had some variations with the tails and such. But all in all, we didn't necessarily complicate the motif. It was meant to sound anthemic. It was meant to sound like, again, it was meant to support someone climbing the mountain, you know, and trying to get to the top. And I think it did that well. You had these really breathy sort of synth pads and everything with those tight sidechain kicks coming in with the drums and the rest of the kit. There's almost some sort of triplet rim shots and just lots of other cool stuff, you know. It was a very eerie kind of, it sounded like you're at a nightclub or going to a show or something like that. There was a sense of drama and tension about it. It's like, will he or won't he make it? You know, that added to the emotional, that added to the way that it was wrapped and communicated. I think it was really smart. When I hear what's going on with the actual instruments, like the structure of the track, you know, like had a verse chorus kind of vibe there, and we repeated the hooks, and the hooks were memorable and catchy, but also just you had such change with the arrangement and the backing of it, you know. We didn't just sit on one set of instruments for each verse. We outlaid higher strings parts on the second chorus, and maybe we had other sort of variations, like little kind of wicker turntable parts in the second verse. And I think we may have actually had 3 verses. Like we had, obviously, you know, just the continuous development of the story there. It's a lot to fit into 3 minutes 13, but I think we managed to nail it. Like you could argue, well, what could we have done with the other instruments in the mix? And I think that, like, if you've got a vocal centric track, you don't necessarily need to have any sort of like solo bits with the instruments. You can just have that motif there, the pads, synth pads, the bass, the drums, and all the other sort of goodies, and just have that as a meaningful sort of like foundation for it to sit on. Again, I think it gave 1L, you know, a bit of flexibility with the way they phrased their lines, and they didn't need to capitulate to what the drum kit was doing, for example, or something like that. I can't imagine needing to do more than what you did with that actuality. And again, with this sort of minimalism in regards to like the overall harmony there, I think that again is just there's as less distractions from the story and the way it's wrapped as possible. You know, we have the clear distinction between the production or the composition and the singer, the rapper, but we managed to meld them together regardless. I think finally the production, the recording, mixing and mastering was splendid. You know, the vocals were obviously recorded correctly and they sounded nice and clear in the mix. It was great. I could hear all the words clearly, and there were no weird resonances or anything like that. Same for the rest of the instruments in the mix. I'm not sure how much those were sampled. Like those string parts we had in the second verse, I think, were absolutely stunning. I loved the kind of the tone of them, the warmth of them. It sounded like people were actually playing those strings. I'm not sure how much of this is recorded or not, and I don't mind either way. You know, we're at a point now where it's difficult to tell. I know from teaching people music production that it is not easy to get to that point where it's difficult to tell, so that is testament to Bex Bright's work on like the production of this. I think not only the tone of the instruments was done well, but I think also it's just the way everything was EQ'd and filtered and placed in the stereo field and notched in the frequency spectrum. You know, we had those higher layers later on to add a bit more sort of fullness to the tone. And then the limiting compression was absolutely stunning. And I mean, like, it was nice and loud without pumping. All in all, this is, it's a great track from Bex Bright, and 1L, fantastic feature. And I wish them all the best in future, but this is effectively my review of Bex Bright's Run It Up featuring 1L. Hopefully enjoyed it. If you did, please do go show them some love in future via their various social medias and their Spotify page, and stay cool and stay safe. Please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as either help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world, and I will catch you in the next review. Spiderhands Out.